Okay, so what I want to share is this document that I created, and I'll also link it below. And it's about a topic that I get asked about on a daily basis, and it's around carbs and fat loss. And do carbs make you fat? So I've created this guide. I will share it with you so you can also go through it in your own time. But essentially, what I want to talk about today is about carbs, and if they make you fat, should you include them in a fat loss journey, and also how to work around it. If you're on a fat loss journey, how should you work your carbs around you? Okay, so it's about things that I've used for myself throughout the years, and for the countless clients that I've helped to drop body fat, feel stronger, leaner, and tone up. It's all the methods that I'm going to share in here, and it's really simple, but as you can see, it's just a couple pages, and it's going to give you all the information you need. But let's start off with this first. Carbs is a bad name. It's got a bad reputation amongst a lot of people, and people associate carbs with gaining weight, being unhealthy, and you've probably heard a few of these that I've included. So don't eat bread, it will make you fat. Low carb diets are the only way to lose weight. These are just a few, but here's the truth, and I'll be honest with you. Carbs don't make you fat. They don't make you overweight. They don't make you gain more fat. But what does is overeating in general, all the macronutrients, and carbs on its own is not the factor, the main thing that's going to make the difference. So you can still eat carbs, and a lot of people are eating carbs. I've eaten carbs, my clients have eaten carbs, and still drop body fat. But there is methods that you can do to use them smartly, and I'm going to share it in this. So using carbs to support your training and your daily activity can help you burn body fat by improving recovery, boosting energy levels, and it can also allow you to see long-term results. And that's really important about boosting energy. Carbs can support you and help you in that. Reason being is your carbs are your body's preferred energy source. Your body prefers the energy, to get energy from the carbs, and it supports it, like I said, in workouts, recovery, and also burning fat. And there's three main types of carbs that I'm going to define it and put it down to. And there's refined carbs, which is your cakes, biscuits, white bread, your white pastas, your sugary cereals. Then you've got your whole carbs, which is brown rices, your whole meals, oats, quinoa, sweet potatoes, all those things. And then you've got your vegetable carbs, which is the carbs that are found in greens, root veggies, and legumes. So as you can see, carbs is varied, like it's broad in its makeup. So it's not one thing. Carbs isn't just refined carbs. It's not just whole carbs. These are all classed as carbs. But obviously, as I'm going to mention, some will help you get towards your goal, and some will make it harder. So like I said, not all carbs are created equal. Refined carbs are processed. They're going to spike your blood sugars. They're going to often leave you hungry, so you're going to need more. And whole carbs, on the other end, they're nutrient dense, slow releasing, and they're going to keep you full for longer, which is really important if you're on a fat loss journey. So using carbs to support fat loss. And this is something that I've implemented, and I tell most of my clients, is best time to have your carbs is before or after your workouts. Before your workouts, just going to support you to have a productive session. You can get that in the form of instant or ready carbohydrate sources, or you can also have your slow release carbs quite a few hours before your training to support you. And also after your workout, just to refill your glycogen stores and recover faster, because obviously you're going to use that during your session, okay? What you can do, a tip that I've used, is on rest days, you can split your calories on specific days, so like training days and non-training days. If you do that, obviously on training days, you can have some more carbs just to support you for your training, those we mentioned. So let's just look at a few differences that you can make that can really change this, and just the difference between white bread and brown bread and other swaps that you can make. So instead of white bread, which is refined, as I mentioned above, it's not going to go a long way in feeding you, helping you feel fuller, and it's also going to spike insulin, all those things that we mentioned. A better swap is wholemeal or seeded bread. You've also got white rice. Instead of white rice, you can do brown rice or quinoa, sugary cereals, oats, Weetabix, and then pasta, whole wheat pasta or lentil pasta. So these are just a few options that you can do. And you can see just from these small tweaks or changes, you can start to see some improvements if you are on a fat loss journey. Yes, greens do have carbs. I've heard people say, I'm not going to have carbs anymore, I'm cutting out all my carbs, and then they have their greens, or they don't class the greens as a carb. It is a carbohydrate. So it's really important that you do have your greens for obvious reasons. It's going to help you with your nutrients. It's going to help you get those vitamins. So you have to try to implement these into your diet, not just if you're on a fat loss journey, but also if you want to be healthier. They're also low in calories, they're packed with fibers, it's going to help your digestive system, and they're also going to help and make it ideal for fat loss journey, because it's really hard to overeat on these greens. So if you're on a fat loss journey, you want to essentially have more volume of food so you can and feel fuller, and greens are going to help you. And here's just a few real life hacks that have worked for me and work for my clients, and I personally do these. So like I said, I have my carbs around training days, so I have higher carbs on pre and post workouts. On rest days, I try to have lower carbs because I don't need as much energy, or if it's a bit more packed in terms of work and sessions, then obviously I'll have those. So I do it on a basis on that. Oats is amazing. So porridges, oats, overnight oats, all these things can really help you in slow releasing energy and keep you full for longer. Staying consistent, of course, making sure to stay consistent with this, because 1 or 2 days is going to make a difference. And then prioritizing whole carbs, as we mentioned, the brown breads, brown rices. So just a quick recap: carbs are not your enemy. They are not going to make you fat or overweight. Overeating will do, and being beyond your calorie maintenance will. Overeating, regardless of food types, also causes fat gain, so it's not just down to carbs. And you can eat breads, rices, potato, and still lose fat, like I said, if you go for the whole meal option, that will support you. And then timing your carbs smartly is going to really help you around the training sessions, and then focusing on whole, slow release carbs. And then finally, using carbs to fuel your performance and recovery is really important, okay? And then that's it. Just my final thoughts I'll say is carbs, your best friend. Use them in your training, use them to support you as you go to the gym. And like I said, have days where you have a few more carbs if you're on training day, and then just have less carbs on certain days where you're at home and you might not need as much energy, let's just say, okay? Just be smart around it, have a strategy, and don't create a connotation that this food group is bad or that food group is bad, because what that will leave you is losing out, and it will make your fat loss journey even harder. You won't be getting the vitamins and minerals which will come back and affect you in your fat loss journey, because it's hard to maintain it. The most important thing is consistency and maintain it over long term. And if you're not able to do, then you'll fall off plan. So just follow those, and that will help you on your fat loss journey to see results and still include carbs in it.